are shifting focus to another big update. After days of hectic deliberation, the opposition has narrowed down on Yashwant Sinha as its candidate for presidential elections. Yashwant Sinha, who's currently in Trinamool Congress, was once a prominent BJP leader and former union minister. He has served as a civil servant for nearly 24 years and has been active in politics since 1984. This decision comes after three potential candidates, National Conference's chief Farooq Abdullah, Mahatma Gandhi's grandson Gopalkrishna Gandhi, and NCP chief Sharad Pawar refused to contest for presidential elections, which will be held on July 18th.
At a subsequent meeting held today, we are happy to announce that we have unanimously, I stress the word unanimously, chosen Sri Yashwant Sinha as the common candidate of the opposition parties for the presidential election, which will take place on the 18th of July 2022.
It's a matter of great pride and honor and gratification that someone of Yashwantji's stature has been nominated and has been accepted by every like-minded political parties. And everyone present in the meeting, either on the first meeting that was convened on the 15th of June or the second meeting that was convened today, was in consonance and in complete agreement with what we had proposed on the very first day.
Just as far as the race to Rashtrapati Bhavan is concerned, a crucial opposition meeting was held today and a unanimous call was taken to pick Mr. Yashwant Sinha as a joint candidate of the opposition as far as their choice for president's name is concerned. So Yashwant Sinha, who's a former union minister, and he was a former union minister in the Atal Bihari Vajpayee-led NDA government, has been named the joint opposition candidate for presidential elections. Remember, the BJP has yet to announce its pick for the elections that will be held in July. The top development of the day is finally, after Mr. Sharad Pawar refused to be the president's pick of the joint opposition, after Mr. Farooq Abdullah and Mahatma Gandhi's grandson also refused to be the opposition's candidate. Now the big update is Yashwant Sinha, a former union minister, has been named the joint opposition's candidate for presidential elections. For more on this, I'm joined by Madhva Narayan, who's an economist and senior journalist on the broadcast. Madhva Narayan, thank you so much for making time and speaking to Mirror Now. How do you view this this name of Mr. Yashwant Sinha, who's a joint opposition's presidential pick? We also understand that the BJP has so far not named their candidate.
I would call this a pretty good googly by the opposition parties. You know, actually Gopalkrishna Gandhi and other names proposed so far were lacking luster, including Sharad Pawar. Mr. Yashwant Sinha is a very feisty old man. He's not even old unless you look at the age. He's been finance minister under BJP, so he's not a simple leftist or anything. At the same time, he's very articulate. Having said that, let me say that the BJP is strong enough to probably pull off the elections because there'll be a lot of backroom parlays going on, including particularly with the Biju Janata Dal, Naveen Patnaik and Jagan Reddy of the YSR Congress. So, but in the current situation when there is so much controversy on everything from joblessness to Agniveer scheme, Yashwant Sinha will probably prove to be a very good value for opposition in raising the issues, because Yashwant Sinha's personality is not typically of a presidential elections one where he, you know, somebody who's very staid and with an old-fashioned approach. He's very energetic, he's in your face, and he's probably going to be, I dare say, a better face for the opposition than any of the people who are actually in the opposition right now. I always saw Yashwant Sinha as some kind of a prime ministerial candidate in terms of sheer personality and force and grasp over issues. Please understand, he's a former IAS officer. He's been finance minister in a very crucial stage under Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He was a colleague of one of the best cabinets that India has had. And he's very flexible without being, if I may say, wimpish, as in he's not a soft guy, but he's very flexible, as a good negotiator. So that kind of personality rubs off very well on the opposition campaign. Having said that, I must say it's going to be the campaign that will benefit. He may not necessarily win the election. In fact, he won't likely. But the margins are likely to be narrower than I would have thought otherwise. Because ultimately, it's all about the electoral college and how the game is swung at the back end with the fence-sitting parties like the YSR Congress and the Biju Janata Dal. But all in all, I would say it's a very smart move by the opposition. Not necessarily the first choice, but it's probably the best choice.
All right. Thank you so much, Madhavan Narayanan, for your views on this. And as you rightly said, and as you said that it's a smart move by the opposition. We'll have to wait and watch who the BJP picks as their candidate. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast.